In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your inner tie rod on your Mazda 3. It's located behind your front wheel. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to take off our lug nuts. Make sure you hold on here. Make sure that wheel doesn't fall off on you. Take off your cotter pin using a pair of wire cutters. It's usually the best tool. I'm going to bend it back. And then you're going to grab it by the head of it. And pry it out. We're going to mark our tie rod so we know where to put it back. So that your alignment is not off. Using a 17mm socket, I'm going to take off this nut. Next, we're going to bang right here to free the tie rod from the knuckle. You can then undo the tie rod. Take it off the inner. Now as you take this jam nut off, you're going to count how many turns it takes. I got 43 turns. You might have a different number. I wrote my amount of turns right here so I don't forget. Loosen your hose clamp. If you have a zip tie on there instead, just cut that with a wire tie. Remove your zip tie or your hose clamp holding the bellow on the rack. Now you're going to take your bellow boot and pull it off. I'm going to use my inner tie rod tool to loosen this up. There's a few different types. This is more like the, I'd like to call it the exhaust clamp type. There's other ones that look like a big tube that kind of lock in there. Whatever one you have, use that. And now we're just going to loosen this. Usually just use that to crack it loose and then you can spin it off. So now we're going to take this off the remainder of the way. When you take off your inner tie rod, you want to put it back together and see your marks. If your inner tie rod is a little different, like has more threads or less threads, and that way you can measure and make sure that you are lined up where these marks are on your new one. So I'm going to put my nut down. To about there, and that's going to help me stay in the alignment parameter. So I'm going to mark this new one. Make sure everything's the same length. That looks good. And that's going to help us line it up so we don't have to do too much adjustment before driving it to the alignment shop. There should be a washer in here that has tabs on it to lock it into place. Ours is missing. So we're going to install that with the new one. We're going to place our washer here on the inner tie rod. Make sure it's locked in, and then spin this on. Once you set up your tool, you're ready to tighten the inner tie rod. So we're going to tighten it until it stops. And then you just want to go a tiny bit more. You don't want to over tighten because you'll hurt the rack. So just give it a little extra. And that should be good. Now you can remove your tool. Now we have to bend this washer down over the flats, and that's going to lock the tie rod from spinning. So I'm going to use this since there's not much you can get in there. And I'm just going to grab onto it and bend it over. So you really can't get a hammer in there to put down the washer on the sides. So you're going to use something like this, and you're just going to bend it over like that. So you want to have it bent over on the flats of the inner tie rod. So one here and one there, preferably. I'm going to put a little grease right here. So when people do alignments on the vehicle, the boot spins. And then we'll put our bellow on. Make sure that that's greased. I've started my zip tie, and I'm just going to push it over the boot. Also push my boot down so I can reach the rack where it sits. Once you get your bellow on, you can get your zip tie where it goes, which is all the way on the, towards the rack. And snug it up. Make sure it's in the groove where the zip tie goes to hold it on. And then you can cut the excess off. Cut the excess off. And now let's secure the other side. So just pull your boot down where the groove is. Make sure that it spins a little. And put your zip tie on. Don't over tighten the zip tie. Just enough to spin the boot still. And then you're going to cut the excess off. Now we're going to install our outer tie rod. Just going to thread it on. I'd say about there is good. Hold it with a 17mm wrench and use your 22mm wrench to tighten up the jam nut. That should be tight and your line should line up. Let's put our tie rod in. You're going to turn your knuckle so it lines up. And put your nut on. I'm going to snug it up and then torque it. We're going to tighten this to 40 foot-pounds. And once you get there, you're going to see if your cotter pin fits through the hole. Ours does, so you don't have to go any further. If you find that it's not, then you can go tighter till you see the hole line up. Don't go looser. All right, so you're going to put that through. You're going to put the top over that and then put this one around the side. If there's too much excess, you can cut it off or bend it down more. We're going to install our wheel now. I like to walk the wheel on. When you're tightening, make sure you go in a star-like pattern. We're going to torque our wheel to 85 foot-pounds in a star-like pattern. Now you're going to want to take your vehicle down to your local alignment shop to get it aligned.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.